That was a rough loss last week. That was what felt like a must win. And you know what? It doesn't really get any easier for the Jags. I mean, the next 4 weeks, they're winnable. They're manageable. But after that, it's pretty rough. But before we get into how the Jags need to win and can win this week, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know so, no lights in the back outside of a few. I'm in mourning for Gardner Minshew. If you don't know, I'm FTFN's current Jaguar ambassador. I cover a variety of NFL teams. I do a lot of college stuff, do a lot of draft content. You should check it out. It's kind of the main pull for the channel. But I cover the Jaguars for them in the meantime. And boy, oh stinking boy, this is going to be rough. They got the Texans, a freshly post-Bill O'Brien Texan team. I don't know what Texan team we're going to see this week. I don't know, man. Maybe they'd be a lot better than they've been this year, but it still poses the question. This is a tough matchup for the Jaguars. And Gardner Minshew's future as a quarterback, for the Jags, kind of hinges on it. If they're able to land Lawrence or Fields, best believe it. I even think Trey Lance, maybe even Kyle Trask, if they might be that desperate to be like, you know what? Not necessarily desperate. Those are good prospects, but they might be like, hey, Gardner Minshew, man, you're a good bridge quarterback. I don't like it, man. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But Minshew needs to win. He ain't getting help from the defense. We'll get into the defense a little bit later. But their next 4 games, right? They get the Texans twice. And if they're the Texans we've seen over the last 4 weeks, then that's a good thing. They get the Detroit Lions. They're feisty. Got to watch out for them Lions. And then they get the Chargers, who, great, they just, the coaching staff, the GM, they all just get to look at another first-round quarterback and be like, oh, maybe we should go get a first-round quarterback instead of the 6th rounder that's starting for us. So, yeah, those are all winnable games. But after that, their final 8 games of the season, 7 of those teams have winning records. It's going to be tough. But what can the Jaguars do to beat the Texans this week? Let's go over what offensive they can do, because let's be honest, it's the offense that's going this game, not the defense. They need to let the ball fly, because that secondary has been trash for the Texans, dude. Justin Reed, probably the only guy with a plus grade for PFF. Outside of that, I mean, you got Roby, who's been kind of so-so, but it's been trash after that. I think Gruden, they need to really let it rip. Minshew, I know I talk about how Gruden, his approach is more attacking downfield strategically, but they really need to take more deep shots. They've only taken 15 shots of 20 yards or more throughout the season. And guess what? They've gotten 3 touchdowns on those plays. Minshew's actually been very successful when doing that. I know that you need to set it up, but you need to take advantage more, and they definitely should do it in this matchup. It's not like the Texans, they're one of the worst pass rushing teams in the league. Minshew will have the time. And the Jaguars, if Brandon Linder is healthy, man, that offensive line, which has been pretty solid this year, gets only better. They need to take advantage of that. They got weapons, man. Shenault, if healthy this week, he has been very good this year. DJ Chark, amazing. And Keelan Cole, I know he's kind of had a bit of a disappearing act last few weeks, but I mean, he's had tough matchups with in the slot. I mean, Jamal Perry came out of nowhere for the Dolphins and just played a bonkers game in week 3. And last week, they had I think it was Mackenzie Alexander that played in the slot. He's a solid slot corner in his own right, but they really do need to let the ball fly. And you know what? They also need to unleash Chris Thompson. He's only been on the field for 89 snaps. And I know you'd be like, but James Robinson's been very successful. Well, the one good thing I can say about the Texans defense is their interior is very good at run defense. And you know what Robinson does best is he attacks the B and C gaps. And that's where the Texans are pretty good. They need to incorporate a little bit more of those outside runs. And you can do that with Chris Thompson. You can do it with Robinson as well. It's not his bread and butter, but I think you end up doing a good job if you run Robinson a little bit more this week, because then they don't know when they're going to get the pass. It keeps the defense honest. Because Robinson, he's been a pretty darn good pass catcher out of the backfield, and we know Chris Thompson is. So it's not an instant, oh, they may run the football, or they may pass the football. Oh, Thompson's on the field, they may pass the football. No, now you got to worry about both backs because you've distributed to both. So I say take advantage of that. Still use the passing game a ton, but when you use the run game, I think you need to give Chris Thompson a decent load of maybe 5 to 7 carries. And I know the emergence of Robinson, you'd be like, what the heck? No, dude, he's been great. But again, where he does his best is on those inside runs. So he doesn't have great explosiveness. So I don't think he's going to be very successful on those outside runs. That's why you mix Chris Thompson in there. That's at least how I would go about it. Now let's talk about the defense, because we all know the defense sucks. The defense for the Jags are terrible. They're terrible. I don't know. They couldn't even pressure freaking Joe Burrow in that offensive line. That terrible, that garbage, that hot, steaming trash that is offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. They couldn't get to him. They sacked him once. Literally, Josh Allen is putting the pass rush on his back, and I've been saying it. I've been saying it for weeks. Todd Wash, what are you doing, dude? Bring an extra rusher, dude. Blitz. They've done it only 21% of the time this year. That's pretty darn low when you consider the rest of the league. It's near the bottom. Joe Schubert, when used as a pass rusher, which Cleveland, they used to do it. They didn't do it a lot, but when they did, he was very, very, very successful as a pass rusher. And you know what? He's getting a little eaten up in coverage. So bring an extra rusher. Use Joe Schubert. That'll help your secondary, which has been terrible. Outside of CJ Henderson, who he's had his ups and downs, the secondary hasn't been that good. And to be fair with them, the pass rush hasn't really helped them out. They've given the quarterback oodles and oodles of time. Like, he is literally given the luxury of, man, I could drop back, take about 7 to 10 seconds before I really have to make a decision because they ain't getting to me. Man. So they need to bring an extra rusher. And you might get burnt by Watson with his feet, but you just can't let guys like Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks, who have crazy speed, beat you deep. You can't get beat. This defense needs to be bend, don't break. You know, if Watson's gonna scamper off for 15, then fine, it'll happen. Matter of fact, this team needs to get better in the red zone in terms of defense. Jaguars, they literally, they're 69 percent as when in terms of how often opposing offenses score in the red zone, which isn't that bad. It's about middling in terms of where they're at compared to the rest of the league. But that's 8% up since their win in week 1. So they've only gotten worse. They need to be bend. They need to be bend, don't break. Josh Jones, honestly, I think they may need to look elsewhere when it comes to their box safety play, because he hasn't been good at all. Hasn't been good in the run. He's been terrible in coverage. And I mean terrible. I think they should really maybe put someone else behind there. Just give someone else a shot. I mean, if we're being completely truthful here, they can't play much. They can't play much worse than Josh Jones. He's been terrible. He's been what you would expect. So I mean, honestly, they could go give Daniel Thomas a shot. They've used. That's actually the only other box safety they have on the books. So yeah, dude, give the rookie out of Auburn a chance. Like I said, it can't be much worse than Josh Jones. He is literally on a scale of 1 to 10. He's a 1. Daniel Thomas comes out and gives you a 1. It ain't, and it's not different than what you've been having. Miles Jack, he's been great in coverage. That's why I'm saying Joe Schubert, go in and get yours, man. Go in and get yours. So, do they have a shot this week? Yes, I think this is probably a shootout. I said this about the Dolphins game, but then that offense just was unable to move the football. So Gardner Minshew, he needs to be better at officially moving the football on those short passes, because I know they often like to use that on first, like use the short passing game to get yards on first down. Just go to the run game. Just go to the run game, and then second and third down, go for your shot. Go for the pass. Go for the pass. Just make maybe third downs a little bit more convertible, a little easier. You don't want them third and longs. So where it's like, okay, first down, incompletion. Then on the run, you get maybe 4 or 5 yards on your like a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Try to make those like, I don't know, third and 3s. Take more downfield shots, man. I don't know, man. I'm a little frustrated with the Jags. But Godspeed, Minshew. Rico, I'm rooting for you. But that's all I got for you in the video. No PTI, not PTI this week. Take a break from that. Have it going on a bit of a hiatus because I'm doing a lot more. I'm trying to keep up with a lot of college football right now and get some of my draft rankings out to y'all. So don't fret. Be gone for a little bit, but one day it may make a return. But expect a lot more draft content. I got new rankings coming out. Actually, next week we're gonna start with quarterbacks. We got a lot to talk about because there's some new names to my list. But as always, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.